When people talk, listen, man, I'm going to raise that red flag.
This narrative, especially after 1 year.
1 year.
One bad year. It's one big splash move. And because I don't think people understand how much cap space we can create.
Alex, I want to ask you, because you're a very humble person.
And I'm never going to be right about anything.
Yeah.
I was right.
What's up, y'all? Back again. So overall, just going straight to the point. I'm opening this restaurant. Hopefully, this restaurant gets open by the end of the month. And I just sit here I don't sit here. I mean, I'm at work, but I kind of just like work through in my head what would be an interesting thing to talk about, because there's so many good Panther content creators that talk about what I consider out of my realm. Like I can't tell you if Cam Jackson was a good pick. I can't tell you if Jimmy Horn was a good pick. I don't know. I'm just like not like I always tell people, if it's a scale from 1 to 10 as scouting, I might be a 6, and that's being generous. So I try to find ways that I can have fun and kind of take people's mind on a different journey, I guess. That kind of sounds like a like a drug, like a come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Willy Wonka. But I always talk about Tilis. And so I was just kind of just sitting here just thinking about, he doesn't get a lot of love because everybody's complimenting Dan on such a good draft. And he deserves it. Dan was fantastic. But Tilis is such an important part of this front office. And it's so hard to say what he does in layman's terms. So I'm going to kind of simplify it to a degree that you can kind of see the shift of when he came on versus when he wasn't here. So, think of every team as engineers, and they're creating a application or a code, right? So you're building the best code with your cap. So you're basically saying, I have 53 people on my roster, and I'm going to allocate my resources as far as my money in kind of a code that analytically is the best way to allocate those resources, basically paying premium positions those amount of money, that amount of money. So he came from Kansas City. So he's basically bringing that application code over with him, which is awesome, right? Like, this is like, we got Kansas City's code, right? So say Kansas City is Apple, and the guy that has the iPhone code or application comes over to Google for Android. And so now we know all the little secrets about Apple's code. Like, that's how cool it is. Like, that's how amazing it is that we got Tilis in, because Kansas City has gone to the Super Bowl 3 of the last 3 straight years, right? And then, yeah, like, they're always in the Super Bowl. And yeah, Patrick Mahomes is amazing. Andy Reid's amazing. Travis Kelce's amazing. But you need more than that to be that consistently good. And the front offices, the cap guys, don't get enough praise for this very reason. So the only way to get an advantage on any of these teams is to find ways to manipulate the code in your favor. And a lot of that time, you hear it all the time, is like you do things on a quarterback's rookie deal, because the quarterback is the premium position, and that's why people pay 25% of their cap for him, because it's that big of a deal. So you manipulate that. You can manipulate your whole code, so you can basically add more value to every other position because your main position is strong. So I'm going to try to do this. I don't know how good I'm going to be at this, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try really, really hard. So I took Kansas City's top 15 cap allocations, and I took the Panthers' top 15 cap, how they allocated their cap. Because allocation sounds like allegations. I don't want to say that again. So how they allocated their funds. So in both top 15, it evens out the exact same, and it's fascinating, right? So one, the quarterback, of course, they're both in the top 15 cap allocations. There's 4 offensive linemen in that allocation. There's 6 members of the defensive front in both allocations. There's 2 skill players in both, and there's 2 defensive backs in both. That already is wild. Then let's just break down the percentage of those top 15. The Panthers are paying 64.94% of their cap to their top 15 players. The Chiefs are paying 69.15% of their cap to those players, and it makes sense because the Chiefs have to pay their quarterback because he's not on his rookie deal. So we basically get a 5% discount because our quarterback's on a rookie deal, which is why we're able to create such depth at our positions. I mean, I think it's cool. That's super cool to me. The age of our top 15 for the Panthers altogether comes to 425. For the Chiefs, 423. Not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. So, let's break it down further. Break it down now, y'all. So, for the Panthers, our 4 linemen that are in that top 15 that we're paying is Hunt, Moton, Lewis, and Icky. That's 2 tackles and 2 interior players. For the Chiefs, it's Taylor, Smith, Moore, and Humphrey. It's 2 tackles and 2 interior players. Our combined age for our 4 offensive linemen is 113. Combined age for theirs is 108. Our cap allocation is 27%. Their cap allocation is 27%. It ain't a coincidence. So let's go even further. I'm just talking about offensive line. Our 2 top allocated funds go to Moton and Hunt, and it's 19% of our total cap. For the Chiefs, their cap allocation goes to Taylor and Smith. One is a right tackle and one is a guard, just like Moton is a right tackle and Hunt is a guard. That cap allocation comes to 18.19%. Our top 2 is 19%. They're 18.19%. So how I feel like every time I do this, the show I just did where I was like showing how Dan showed his hand, the coincidences aren't coincidences. This is a algorithm. This is analytics. 19% of your top 2 offensive linemen combine for 19%, and they have 18.9%. It's an algorithm. And we get a little bit more leeway because we have a rookie quarterback. So theoretically, all our position groups are going to be slightly more of the cap because our quarterback is slightly less of the cap. So, moving on. Let's go to the defensive front. So we both have 6, right? So our defensive front, I'll just start with the ages. We have 175, they're 166, and we have them at 23% of the cap. They have 19.42. So we're showing that we're using most of our percentage that we get for our quarterback for our defensive front. And you saw it, we spent so much time on it. So we are paying Derek Brown the most of all our defense front players. He comes in at the third highest cap hit. Their third highest cap hit is Chris Jones, which is a defensive tackle. We are paying Brown and Clowney, who are our next guy, a combined 11.69% of our cap. And together, they are 61 years old. Jones and Tranquil are a combined 61 years old, and they're paying 12.31% of their cap. Their top two defensive players as far as cap hits are 61 years old combined. There's one edge rusher and one defensive tackle. The Panthers pay 11.69% of their cap to these two guys, and the Chiefs pay 12.31. Not even a percentage point apart. Now, what goes on after this is scary how close they are. The next highest paid as far as defensive player, as far as edge rusher. Sorry. So what's next is pretty scary. In the top 15, there's only one what's considered a linebacker in both cases. We have Josie Jewell, and they have Tranquil. Tranquil is 30 years old. Josie Jewell is 31 years old. Josie Jewell takes up 2.76% of the cap. Tranquil takes up 3.04% of the cap. Basically 0.3% apart. The next edge after that for both teams, edge rusher, is Wanham and Dana for the Chiefs. Wanham is 28 years old. Dana is 28 years old. Wanham is 2.82% of the cap. Dana is 2.88% of the cap. The next people are Wanham and Dana, both 28 years old, and they're 0.06% apart in their cap allocations. Like, what? Like, honestly, what? That is it's just freaking bananas. It's so wild. Like I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you as in like the specificity of a broad scope, because I'm putting everybody in like these boxes, right? What they're doing is probably 10 times more in depth, and I'm just giving you like these broad scopes. So let's move on, because we can always move back and talk some more about anything that I see. There might be other stuff but you get where I'm going, right? Like this is bananas. It really is. It's freaking bananas. So there's two skill players. There's two skill players on both sides. The two skill players in the top 15 are Adam Thielen and Chuba Hubbard. Adam Thielen is 35, and he's 3.62% of the cap. Kelsey is 36, but he's 7.09% of the cap because he's Hall of Famer. So that's something that like kind of is, if they didn't have a Hall of Famer on their team, or if we had one, you could see where, and you better believe they have those plans. Like if somehow, like, I don't know, say we got DK Metcalf. I bet they would have that in the Travis Kelce area of player. And the next one is Chuba Hubbard and Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown is 27. Chuba is 26. Hollywood Brown commands 2.43% of the cap. Chuba commands 2.06% of the cap. Combined, the Panthers are 61 years old, I guess, with that, and the Chiefs are 64 with their two top skill players. Let's move on to secondary. Our two secondary guys are J.C. Horn and Morig. Their two are Fulton and McDuffie. So Fulton and Horn are insanely close. So J.C. Horn is 26 years old and commands 2.63% of the cap. Fulton is 27 years old and commands 2.51% of the cap. That is a 0.12% difference as far as their cap allocations. And they're both the QB1s on their team in theory. And then you go to McDuffie. McDuffie is 25 and commands 1.59% of the cap. Morig is 26 and commands 2.34%, 2.55% of the cap. So less than 1% of a difference. Together, they are 52 for the Panthers and 55 for the Chiefs. 5.2% allocation on the Panthers side and 4.1% allocation to the Chiefs. So, if you put all of them together, 15 different players, and the difference, let's just take the difference between Bryce Young, who is a 3.71% cap allocation, and Mahomes, who's a 10% cap allocation, 10.05. Quick math, 6.34 differential, right? So there's an outlier between the quarterbacks of 6.34%. All 15 players for both teams, the Panthers are 425 years of age. The Chiefs are 423 years of age. The Panthers have a 64.94% allocation to their top 15. The Chiefs have a 69.15. Which, if you're doing mental math, that's about 4% difference, a little over 4%. And our quarterback differential is about 6%. So, in the most basic, elementary way possible, the age is 2 years apart. And honestly, they go more in depth than that. Like, they're going by the month. I didn't do that. I'm just doing very basic, like, that's how old they are kind of thing. And that's 2 years apart for 15 guys. And the percentage of the cap allocation is a basic 4% differential, where the quarterback difference is a 6% differential. So basically, Tilis gets to play with an extra 6%, and he put 4 of that percent into the top 15 players. But it breaks down to 4 offensive linemen, 4 players on the defensive front, 2 skill players, and 2 secondary players. that the obvious thing that the Chiefs are doing a little differently is their skill players. Cheap to have so many good ones. And it's because they went, in the previous years, they went Xavier Worthy at 28. They went Rasheed Rice at 55. They went Sky Moore at 54. And then for us, our last 3 years, we went 8, 32, and 39. So basically they have a first rounder and 2 seconds. We have a first rounder, 32nd, which could be a second rounder, and a second rounder. So we're doing what good teams do. We're drafting our skill players. We're paying our trenches guys. Our top 15 is around 65%. Our main cap hits, like literally, we go offensive line, defensive tackle, offensive line. They go quarterback, which is taken away, offensive line, defensive tackle, offensive line, offensive line. So if quarterbacks were removed, they go 1 defensive tackle and 3 offensive linemen. Just like we go 3 offensive linemen and 1 defensive tackle. It's pretty cool when you look at it. I mean, it really is cool. I mean, I know this is like, I know this sounds so like, it sounds so, I don't know, it might sound cool to you guys too. And this is the very basics of what he brings over. So now, let's talk about this. So I just told you how that allocation is, right? I just told you how that was. Now, let's look at that allocation for us with Scott Fitterer. The last time, this was a 2023 cap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15, right. All right, so with those 15, this is what we had under Fitterer. This is how the cap was allocated under Fitterer. You see how it's allocated now, and it's like right with Kansas City. For this, we had 4 defensive front people, and we need 6 if we were going to be like the defensive front of Kansas City. So we have Burns, we have Luvu, we have Haynes, and we have Brown. There's only 4, and there should be 6. Because that's the algorithm that Kansas City rolls with. We have 2 offensive linemen. We have Moten, and we have Icky. We should have 4. This is the biggest problem. We need to allocate our funds to the trenches. We have 6 of our top paid players. When Fitterer was here, the last year that Fitterer was here, 6 were defensive backs. 6 of 15 were defensive backs. It was Djax, it was Horn, it was Woods, it was Bell, it was Chin, it was Henderson. That's the Tilis difference. And then we have 2 of our playmakers. That's the only one that makes sense. So we should have 10 total trench people and only 2 defensive backs. Instead, we have 6 players that play in the trenches, making top 15 money or percentage of the cap, and 6 of what should be 5 offensive linemen and a front 7. That's a 13 of 13 of starters, and trenches are the most important thing on your team. So of the 13 you should have, we're only paying 6 of them in the top 15. Now we're paying 10 of them, but then we were paying only 6, less than half. And of the defensive backs, in theory, you have 2 safeties and 2 corners on the field at the time, and maybe you have like a nickel. Like, let's say at most you have 5 total secondary guys, and we're paying 6 at the top 15. How idiotic asinine is that? That's what we had before Tilis. That's the power of Tilis. Because now we know the algorithm that they brought over from the Chiefs is the exact same thing, is that we're supposed to be paying in the top 15. 4 offensive linemen, 6 front 7, 2 secondary, and 2 playmakers. Because the trenches are the most important thing to winning football, and Kansas City knew that, and now we know that. The importance of Tilis. I don't think I said enough. I edit this well enough for you guys to kind of follow along. If not, I'll just do it again, I guess. I don't know. But I thought it was cool to like talk about Tilis a little bit and give him some flowers because we've just been kind of talking about Morgan and Tilis and stuff like that. So yeah, Tilis matters, and this is why. So I really enjoyed it. I don't know. All right. Anyway.